Should the Chiefs rest Patrick Mahomes and his buck ankle against the Broncos tonight?
Patrick Mahomes, you've seen him struggle through an ankle injury that he has re-aggravated twice in game, and both times has struggled afterward. And now you're talking about Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs coming off of 2 losses into a Thursday night game against a surging Broncos defense, at least. Look, I don't think there's any chance he's going to sit out. When you weigh risk and reward, this seems more like an opportunity for Patrick Mahomes to play the hero than for you to really worry about what his ankle is feeling like. As long as they can avoid him getting hit again, you'll probably see a Patrick Mahomes who is close to his MVP level. He's not going to be able to make up for that run defense, which has been atrocious. And this is still a short week on the road, but you've got 10 games after this. He does not have a bye week until week 12, but he's got 10 days after this to rest and recover and then look like the Patrick Mahomes again. Look, if you're talking about re-injuring an ankle, not that big of a fear. Tonight, he's got to play and play hero and end this losing streak.
This sounds like the producers have him on his fantasy team or something, because it feels like a complete overreaction. He's had one game that he played poorly by his own standards against the Houston Texans, who, by the way, ESPN has as the 3rd best team in the AFC according to the Football Power Index. So I feel like we're exaggerating a little bit here. And here's the other thing. He says he's fine. He says he's going to play. Andy Reid says he's going to play. And you know what? Sometimes we're too beholden to the quarterback position. This may be an opportunity for other guys to step up. Travis Kelce, LaShawn McCoy, Damian Williams, Tyreek Hill, right? All these guys that are available to them. They got a lot of weapons that can help carry him for a little bit.
Hey, Broncos, you know what to do. When he's on the ground, find his ankle and step on it.
No!
What's that?
That's the end of the game, man.
No!
Don't listen to this,
No!
man.
No, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby. Are the Wizards right to bank on Bradley Beal?
This is pretty interesting here. Overnight, we heard that Bradley Beal signed a 2-year extension after he was 1 vote away from making an All-NBA team and being eligible for a Supermax. He now sets himself up to be eligible after 10 years for a 5-year, $266 million richest contract in NBA history. He did nothing wrong in that situation, and really, the Wizards did nothing wrong in this situation, right? They had an all-star in their grasp, they tried to keep him, and they succeeded. But at the start of this, you've got GM Tommy Shepard telling you once again that we're going with John Wall and Bradley Beal for the long run here. Is there ever going to be a rebuild? Whether it's because these two don't have chemistry together, whether they're not the right fit, whether they don't have the right issues of this duo try to work, and really it seems like there's a ceiling on this. I think a lot of people love Bradley Beal, and his trade value would probably never have been higher than it would be from right now until this February trade deadline. It feels like they missed an opportunity to go with an actual rebuild, and instead are trying to sell us once again on the same backcourt with one of them coming off of an Achilles injury.
Seasons, it feels like, and they continue to try out the same team as seats. He scores 27 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. John Wall probably won't be back this season. There's a good chance that's going to be the case. But if you're Bradley Beal, what are your motivations? Do you want to stay in one place your entire career? Do you want to be that guy for DC? Do you want to make the most money? Or do you want to try to win? Because if you want to try to win, this doesn't seem like the right move either, because your timeline probably will never work out. Even rebuilding around him is going to take some time.
I have a prediction on the Wizards. In 2 months, we'll be asking, should the Wizards blow it up?
Out at number 1. There are plenty of quarterbacks you can draft at number 1, a Baker Mayfield-like, but does anybody actually say, hey, I'm going to lose every game for that guy? I don't think it's big enough a problem yet. And when you think about it, look, early about it at this point, but if you look at most NFL seasons, you go through week 8 on, you have teams blatantly tanking all the time. It's just the Miami Dolphins were starting from the very beginning, and it's 5, 6, 7 years. I don't really see a scenario where you have to add a lot.
Roger Goodell and the owners, though, they are steadfast in saying, no tanking, nothing to see here. I saw quotes from Arthur Blank. I saw quotes from Jeffrey Lurie. They're doing the right thing. We all know what the Dolphins are doing. It's blatant tanking, and it's fine. It actually is the smart move. They probably should have done this 10 or 15 years ago, to be honest with you. And it's not new. You mentioned the Cleveland Browns. I could go back to the Colts when Peyton Manning was lost, where they trotted out a 97-year-old Kerry Collins out of nowhere. They trotted out our colleague Dan Orlovsky, who we like, but wasn't necessarily someone who was ready to take over the reins there, and Curtis Painter as well. So we've seen this stuff before. The NFL just likes to mask this and say, again, nothing to see here. Should they do the draft lottery? No, it doesn't work in the NBA. What's the point of doing it in the NFL?
Frankly, you can't really get mad at these teams like the Browns and the Dolphins, who have been suffering for so long, losing, and can't even find a way to make the playoffs. they go the extreme route. There aren't that many franchises doing it.
To your point, look, the middle of the road is the worst thing you can be in the NFL. You got to be great or you got to be bad. That's just the way it works in sports, period.
The NFL should have a lottery. Yeah, but only after the Dolphins they get Tua.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
We
fix
need
the problem
something.
after the Dolphins fix their major
For
problem.
real.
That's the way to do it.
Could you see Jerry Jones signing Antonio Brown?
Well, let's be clear here. This is Michael Irvin speaking on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, laughing while he's suggesting that Antonio Brown signed with the Dallas Cowboys. But let's take the laughter out of it for a second, shall we? Because this is Jerry Jones, and these are the Cowboys, and you would think that him. Never mind the last time we saw Antonio Brown, he was sending intimidating texts to a witness in a civil sexual assault case. Never mind that. It seems like the morals police don't really go around Jerry World very often, and so he might be willing to overlook that. Look, if, as Michael Irvin says, you can sort of bring him in and say, hey, Amari Cooper, go ahead and heal, and if he is a good citizen and everybody is together, that, him, Gallup, Cooper, probably the best receiving corps in the NFL, and all of a sudden you're talking about the Cowboys as a legitimate contender again. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. But maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, Michael Irvin is sitting there and he's laughing, but he clearly sounds pretty serious, as you mentioned, is going through all the litany of reasons as to why they should sign Antonio Brown. But here's the problem. Yes, the Cowboys have been a team that have taken on a lot of players with baggage, but this player's baggage is a little different, as you pointed out. He's currently under investigation from the NFL and dealing with that civil suit. He's yet, to my knowledge, to speak to the NFL about their current investigation, so he's on an unpaid suspension, which then, once he does finally talk to the NFL, will determine if he's on another unpaid suspension. So, no matter what's going to happen here, this is probably not a likely scenario for this particular season.
Would you be surprised if Jerry just...
Absolutely not. No, the answer is I would not be surprised.
Is Raymond right that teams deserve more blame when high draft picks bust?
Well, Draymond Green and the Warriors have a former high draft pick, former number 8 pick Marquise Chris on their team, and he's now in his 4th team. And what Draymond essentially said was, look, you guys always want to blame the players for being busts, but you never look at the organization that drafted them and brought them up, whether it be because media members are friends with the executives of those teams. He said they don't get enough criticism, and frankly, some organizations just do a better job of building up young picks. Look, I think it's a bit of a straw man from Draymond because we do criticize teams like the Suns when they don't do well by their players or they don't develop players very well. And we definitely give a lot of credit to teams like the San Antonio Spurs and Miami Heat and others that develop their players, whether they be high draft picks or not. But there are a lot of factors that come into play with why an NBA player doesn't develop into the type of player he is. And with Marquise Chris, you can even look at his age when he came into the NBA. A lot of players maybe come in too soon, and they're not even ready. So while Draymond does have a point that the criticism is not spread evenly enough, there are way too many factors to say, hey, let's put the blame on the organization and let these players play wherever they want to.
Draymond is right and he's wrong. You're right. Culture absolutely matters. And you have to be aligned from the top to the bottom. And sometimes a guy like Marquise Chris gets drafted into a situation where maybe he doesn't fit the scheme of a particular coach. And then he goes to another team and it just doesn't work out for another reason. Because now he's lost his confidence. There's so many things that can snowball, particularly with young guys, that creates these situations. But to your point, we blasted the Phoenix Suns. Robert Sarver is widely known as basically James Dolan West. They get treated like the Knicks of the Western Conference because they've been at the bottom of the Western Conference for so long after they were nearly at the top of the Western Conference for many, many years.
Counterpoint. What about if Draymond had been drafted by the Knicks?
Or anybody else that didn't.
It's more sleep. Do you question?
You give us topics and events and we question them.
Do you question which was the better pass from LeBron?
This was from Lakers Warriors last night. Steph Curry didn't play, but the Lakers big men played, and LeBron was just kind of showing off. I mean, here he was in the high post. I mean, God, he sees the floor so well, and this ball just gets there right on the money. That wasn't the best one, though. This was the best one. I mean, I, for one, look at this.
How do you see him?
But how do you put it right in his hands? Never mind that you see him. Left-handed, behind the back, in the air, dude in his face, right in his hands. Listen, I, for one, don't care if LeBron wins another championship. I don't care if he makes another All-Star game even. I just want him to show off all the time just like that while he's in LA.
The corner. Yeah.
I mean, that's the specialty, right? When you're playing with LeBron.
A lot of that in the future.
Just get out of the way.
Do you question JaVale McGee's sportsmanship?
I was just told you're going to want to keep an eye on JaVale McGee for this entire play. Listen, you're going to want to keep an eye on JaVale McGee for the entire season. If he's on the floor with LeBron, he's either going to be doing something great or something like this.
Start earlier than anybody else playing next
There.
Tuesday. The Warriors are
There he goes. Oh, look, he looks like he's starting to angle. Oh, no, so much pain. Oh, no, wide open.
Sneaky.
I mean, that is
Sneaky
so
McGee.
Bush. So Bush League. Don't laugh at that, Anthony Davis.
No, that's
Don't laugh at that.
brilliant.
You cannot be a part of this. If this happens in the regular season, there's a fight afterward. I'm telling
Win if
you.
you can, lose if you must, but always, always cheat.
LeBron is going to fake an injury when they have a losing record in December.
Yes. And then he's not going to run back on the court. That's the difference.